spent most of its time being weighed. All through this coal, the finest in the world, has travelled down to the sea, down to the ships.
I'm David Hunter Peart. I'm 79 years old in a week. And I was a former chairman of Peart and Company Limited, under its various guises, you know. My father formed the business with a small amount of capital, which his wife had. And I've no doubt he would just be gobsmacked to see that 100 years later. I've been so delighted to see the way the business has gone. Absolutely, I can't tell you the pleasure it gives me.
I joined the business in 1988, and it's 35 years ago, after a brief spell that I'd had in the army as an infantry officer.
We had a hell of a job getting him out of the army, because he was in the army. He committed to another 2 or 3 years, I think. So anyhow, Freddie came in like he was a real breath of fresh air.
I immediately moved into the office in Hartlepool, the little sales office, working alongside my Uncle David. I really enjoyed this period of my working life. David was a wonderful mentor to me. He gently instilled the values, the family values of the business that we still stick to today, really. He taught me to invest for the long term. He taught me to divest if circumstances changed. He taught me to recruit good people and empower them and realise their potential.
The basic thing is that, and when Roger joined the business as well, I mean, I've just been amazed at how it's gone, and I'm intensely proud of what they've done. Not that I didn't think they were competent, but I didn't think they were that competent.
I'm incredibly proud that we have thrived in the third generation. It's a notoriously difficult phase in a family business. The majority of businesses go bust in the third generation. So I'm just absolutely delighted, and probably a little bit relieved too that we've actually managed to flourish as a business. We're stronger now than ever before.
I think really what I'm most proud of is the longevity, and we haven't actually been part of that rags to riches and back to rags again in 3 generations. So that feels good. Probably the best thing is that my father will get to see this moment. I know he's poorly at the moment. We've been reminiscing, and one of the things he said was that his father would be absolutely chuffed to bits to see what the group's become.
Hello, I'm Peter Blenkind. I work for Peart Access Ramps, and I've been a managing director since September 2018. I joined F. Peart & Co. at the time in July 1996. I think there's a legacy there, and it's our responsibility to build on that legacy. Over those 3 generations there's been lots of changes. The core business was coal merchants, then it moved on to oil, then they started fabricating products. Now what are we? We're a training company, a recruitment company, so it's great. It's great to see how forward thinking all the generations have been.
Hi, I'm Tony Hobbs and I'm the Managing Director of Baltic Apprenticeships. We are a national IT apprenticeship provider, probably fifth largest in the country, servicing approximately 1,000 companies and 1,500 young apprentices every year to start their careers in the IT, tech and digital sector. Been with the business for 15 years. It's been a really interesting journey. We started off in a porter cabin in the oil depot. I ruined many trousers over the first 6 months of working in that oil depot. I think working for a family business, I've worked for many businesses over the years, PLCs, private entities, but working for a family business is completely different. Essentially, people care. Of course, you're there to make money. Of course, there are the business drivers that are vastly important. But actually, there's a group of human beings that are really interested in what's going on in that business for people and the change that we're providing for people. So it's much more than simply making some money. It's about having a legacy.
I'm Chris Kent. I'm the MD of Baltic Recruitment. I've worked for the Peart Group for 13 years now. So knowing the history of the group is important, and knowing that you're part of something bigger, being part of that culture, part of obviously the team behind it is important.
My name is Jeremy Royal. I'm the Managing Director of Your NRG, which is the fuel distribution arm of the Peart Group. I started working for the Peart Group 13 years ago this year. I suppose it's just being an active part of the story, which is 100 years old, is again, it's one of pride. With our growth and achieving 6th position in the UK, we are on course to double the size of the business to deliver around about 600 million litres this coming year. We are merely custodians. We're looking after something which is going to be moving through. So, here we are, a century down the line, it's great pride.
Hi, my name's Les Worthy. I'm a group finance manager, and currently I handle the financial records of Peart Access Ramps, Peart Property, Bourburn, and Eylet Paralegals. I started working with the Peart Group on the 17th of February 2003, which means it was just last month that I finished my 20 years, my first 20 years. Because I've been born and bred in Hartlepool and seen the Peart name, it's a fantastic achievement for the family. But coincidentally, the place I was at before I came to Peart's was something called West Hartlepool Steam Navigation, and during my time there, believe it or not, they reached the centenary as well. So we had a big dinner. So to be at two companies that's reached the centenary is off the charts, really, isn't it?
I'm Peter Kitchen. The job title is Operations Manager, and I work for Your NRG. When I joined around about 40 years ago, they were just looking to go computerised. No computers prior to that date. And one day, he rolled in with a man from Barclays Bank and said, "We're going to do the direct debit electronically." And at that time, we were actually the first company to be able to electronically take money. And that was what it was like with David. He liked to be moving ahead. He liked the technology.
Hello from sunny Dubai. My name's Robert Thompson. I'm the CEO of Propeller Fuels. I've known the Peart since 1991 as a customer and a partner since 2017. I'm incredibly proud to be associated with the heritage of the Peart family. In 2019 we decided to go global and start a trading site. We have since opened in Greece, Dubai and Singapore, and we are even negotiating to appoint an agent in Australia. So we have literally got to the other side of the world in less than 4 years as a trading company and less than 6 in total. But it was a very easy decision to opt to work with the Peart family. Because of my past experiences and their reputation amongst my colleagues and peers, it made it easy. Known to do business with a smile on the faces and liking to work hard but play hard, these values were incredibly important to me, as well as those of trust and integrity, for which they are also known.
One day we got an order to deliver bunkers to a North Sea supply vessel. We were terribly excited about this. It came in about 11 o'clock at night, but we were there watching it. And after about an hour and a half, the ship was still there, even though we put the oil on it. I said, when are you going? And the master of this vessel, he said, when we can get all hookers off board.
Hartlepool, when we moved there, the pride of moving back to Baltic Street, is there is a hazard, and that is seagulls. And they have caused much mirth over the years. I think that the one that sort of sticks in my mind was I was loading the car. We were heading off to do a show, and had a new employee with me, and managing director, busy trying to get things done. And I leant over to load the car, and I was hit from above, and the employee in question found that most amusing.
He had a nice BMW, and it was getting serviced in the garage. A guy called Ralph. Ralph must have been about 80. He'd worked from the company since he was a lad. He was just moving it, and now this is high-powered and it's automatic. Ralph wasn't used to either of those really. There was a rapid spinning of wheels, and then a thud, and we all knew what had happened really. And we had a window into the garage, but David managed to resist looking out the window, and he just says, "Don't tell me about it."
The business was about 3 years old. We just had our first Ofsted inspection, so it's about 12 years ago, and we did really well on it. And David made the effort to come into the business. He bought me some vouchers for the Bay Horse restaurant in Herwith, somewhere that I'd always wanted to go but couldn't quite afford to go. So he trekked me to an evening with my wife in the Bay Horse. It's the first time I'd ever tasted mussels, and I've never looked back since. So I've got David to thank for my new palate and how I've expanded my potential as a human being.
We owned a third of a little business called Oil NRG, and at the time it had maybe 3 or 4 trucks, and it got into difficulty, and so the shareholders sort of said, well, does anybody want it? Out of the 3 shareholders, 2 of us did, so we went to sealed bid. And possibly my favourite moment was when they opened the envelopes. It's quite a moment, and finding out that we'd been successful in winning the business. So that's probably one of my favourite moments.
I did actually note quite a few funny moments, but I can't use them these days.
Some of them I wouldn't want to repeat.
I've been fortunate to know the Peart family as family friends, so Roger and I got up to all sorts in our youth.
Working for the Peart Group over the last 15 years has quite frankly been a joy. I've not had that much to do with David, but I know he's influenced both Roger and Freddie greatly in terms of how they approach business, how they approach people, and that has certainly benefited me in the way that I've been given opportunity and really supported over those 15 years. And quite frankly, without all of that previous family history, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm very grateful for that heritage.
Excellent. It's an excellent achievement. 100 years centenary. You turn around as an employee and think, well, I've done this and that over your term. The other side of the coin is that, and the way I look at it, I've had 20 years of employment. I've paid the mortgage off. I've put my son through uni. I've nearly kept up with the wife's spending habits, and I've already thanked them for that over the past 20 years, and I just wish them all the best for the future.
Well, first I'd like to thank the Peart family, Roger and Freddie in particular, for their support over the last 13 years. On behalf of obviously myself and Baltic Recruitment, we'd like to congratulate the Peart Group on its centenary.
It's 100 years. It's a significant milestone, and I think all generations should be applauded for what they've achieved, and what vision that they've got for the group. While I've been working for the Peart companies, I worked with David, I've worked with Freddie, I've worked with Roger, and it's just a nice place to work. You're not a number, you're a name, and I think we are a big organisation, and I think it's just nice to build up relationships with people, and there's such a lot of staff retention. A lot of people will join the business and remain with the business, and I think that's a good sign. It's a nice place to work.
And to achieve, 100 years is amazing. And I know that the Peart Group, I think at the last count, turnover was around about £500 million. A head count of about 500 staff from here in the North East base. There's going to be lots more to come from the Peart Group, and I'd just like to wish them all a happy birthday.
And congratulations for 100 years in business. I am genuinely proud of my past and ongoing association with the Peart Group. I raise a glass to the company, the family, and all the first class and loyal people they have employed over the years, and wish for the next 100 years to be as good as the last. Congratulations and well done.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank everybody, both past and present, at every level in the hierarchy, and say thank you for everything that you've all done. This isn't a one-man effort. It's a huge team effort, and it's a team effort that we've been bashing away at for over 100 years now. I'm really looking forward to passing on the baton to the next generation. That will be happening shortly, I hope, and I've every confidence that we'll continue to flourish and thrive into the future. So thanks to all, and fingers crossed it keeps going.
It was funny actually that only 2 days ago I told one of the banks we work with that it was going to be our centenary this year, and they said, "Oh, you must be really proud of everything you've done for the community and this sort of stuff." And actually, we don't see it like that at all. I certainly don't. I think the family see it as we're amazed at what the community's given us and what we've been able to do because of the community. It's the other way around. We see it. So I think, the final message is probably a good moment to sort of remember and thank all the sort of amazing people we've got working for us.
The thing I love about the business at the moment is the tremendous respect which Roger has and Freddie for the staff. And I've no doubt that with the management, and that you've obviously some great people working for you, that it'll thrive. It's no longer a small business, or medium-sized as we were. It's a huge business, and I'm intensely proud of what they've done.